Hello, this is Dread, and in today's video topic, this is going to be a little bit of a different video today. I've been doing a lot of soul searching of late due to, waiting for last epoch to do anything. So I've been playing a lot of different games. Recently, I picked up Chronicon, and I've been playing some Diablo 2 mods. I've been doing a bunch of different stuff in the past few days. So let's talk about it. First things off, we've been playing Annihilus. Annihilus is a mod for Diablo 2 that changes the base game significantly. Not only does it change a lot of the skills and their functionality and makes a lot of them a lot more useful, it also changes crafting entirely. We have the Path of Exile crafting system where we have, orbs of alteration, alchemy orbs, just all of that in Diablo 2. And let me tell you, it's really fun to craft on Diablo gear, like really fun and really amazing to hit that +3 ring again and again. It feels great, right? Also as well, the rune word's a little bit different. And the most importantly for me, I really don't like ARPGs where you go into a zone and you reset the zone when you're done with it, and you constantly do that. Hero Siege recently has that, but like it kind of gets away from that a little bit by just having more varied endgame, which I'm completely fine with. As long as it's only part of the endgame, that's not a big deal. But that's always been a thing that's always like made me dislike Diablo 2 is I just don't like the reset stuff. We're resetting a zone. I like mapping and Path of Exile, and that's what this mod does. Is it gives Diablo 2 mapping. You have rift stones that you go into higher tiers. You have bosses. I believe there's uber bosses as well, and it's been really enjoyable. It's nice to have actual endgame in a Diablo 2 mod. I know that there's a lot of other Diablo 2 mods, by the way. I'm very well aware of them, and I plan on playing them eventually as well when their seasons come up, but I've been having a hell of a lot of fun with Annihilus, let me tell you. I just got to endgame. I got done with Hell difficulty with my cooldown druid. The concept here is we utilize a bunch of different skills with cooldowns on them to kind of rotate through them to do maximum amounts of damage. So right now we're spamming tornadoes on the ground, which just sit there and do damage in an AoE. We're spamming volcanoes, which does a bunch of AoE damage. It overlaps as well. Then we have I think it's Maelstrom. Yeah, it's the thing that's around me. It's like a constant blade vortex damage over time around me. And then we also have Fissures, which is a fire damage kind of like explosion under their feet. And all of those overlaps allow me to kind of shotgun on single target really hard and gives me the single target that I need to push into endgame. It's really interesting playing just a different build in Diablo 2 because I know that the original meta for Diablo 2 is rather stale, as it's been around for 20 years. So it is interesting to just kind of go by the seat of my pants and just to be like, hey, I want to play this. And guess what? I did that because like a good example is I was actually planning on just playing Wind Druid this time around because Wind Druid looks really fun. In this version of the mod, it looks very powerful as well, but I was like, fuck it, let's try something else. And I ended up putting a Fissure on my bar while also using Tornado, and I was just like, why don't we scale both? There are reasons we can do it because not only do all the skills, not only are all the skills different, and crafting is also different. Rune words are different. Everything is different. Which if you really want to see all the differences, by the way, I would heavily suggest checking out Graxy TV's video on the mod, as he covers it way better than I do. Let me tell you, but like. All of these differences are cool, but what makes it even crazier is there's a whole goddamn Path of Exile inspired passive tree. I'm not kidding. There's actually a passive tree. So as you kill bosses inside areas, there's like a really nice little like ticker that tells you which bosses you've killed and which ones you still need to go kill for points. But you get souls, which then you spend on the tree. And this tree has a lot of interesting nodes on it. So like for instance, one of the bigger nodes that I'm using right now is I'm using a node that gives me a significant portion of AoE, like 50% increased AoE on all my skills, which is really good because all my skills are AoE and it helps with the overlaps and helps with the clear, right? But they're all AoE skills. So it gives me 50% increased AoE, but it also makes it so that I'm 50% more likely to be stunned when I'm hit. This is a big problem, and it's something I have to solve with my build. I walked into some, maps, and I was like constantly getting stunned, mainly just because I'm not tanky enough, because I had to change my stats around due to item attribute requirements, but we'll be messing around with that eventually. But essentially, we've been having a lot of fun with this CD druid. There's a lot of other stuff too, like for instance, there's a node that gives us increased damage based on the element of skill that we've used recently. It's very like elemental overload or elemental equilibrium from PoE, where I use a fire skill, then all my cold skills do more damage for 5 seconds. And then since we're constantly rotating through skills, either my cold skills get 50% increased damage or my fire skills if you get 50% increased damage. So it's effectively like 25% increased damage for free, which is really big in a mod like this. And also as well, there's a node on the tree that gives you like 15% damage reduction if you use a cooldown skill recently. We plan on getting that, as that's going to help out a lot. And all of this combined just leads to me feeling like as though I'm actually making a build, because obviously Diablo 2 is really old, right? So, it didn't have that much build complexity. But let me tell you, it's been fun actually theory crafting in this game, because they definitely give you the tools to be able to work towards that. One thing that's really good, in my opinion, is this mod is not afraid to give you quality of life. Like a good example is the potions are less like Diablo, where they're not consumable. They're just simply cooldown potions. They have like a 10-second cooldown, they have a duration, and you can roll modifiers on them as well. It makes it way less annoying, because let me tell you, playing original Diablo and having to fuck with potions, oh, that's like the easiest way to get me to like quit. Also as well, it seems like as though there's no idols as well, or whatever you want to call them, charms, which I like. I really don't like the charm system in original Diablo 2, because it's always like clogging up your inventory. That's actually one thing I will say that I have a criticism overall with most Diablo mods that I play, or most games of Diablo 2, is the inventory. The inventory is really small, not our personal inventory per se, but more like the box inventory, like the stash inventory. Only having one inventory slot when you have a bunch of different currency types, and actually as well essences. Yes, there are essences in this game where they guarantee a mod when you slam it onto something, just like Path of Exile. And because there's so many of these currencies, they just clog up your inventory. Thankfully, I've found that I can use my the cube to like store a lot of these items, but it ends up being this case where it just feels like there's just so much stuff on the ground, but so little places to store it, especially the crafting materials. So if we could eventually maybe see more storage space, even if it's just extra stash spaces, that's all that matters. I know original Diablo 2 had problems with that, coding that in and stuff like that, but it would be nice to see more storage space. But yeah. What are my thoughts on the mod overall after getting to hell? Well, overall, I really enjoyed the mod. I think that it is actually a fun experience if you've played so if you're like me, okay, and you did not grow up with Diablo 2 and you don't have rose tinted glasses about Diablo or the franchise, and you wanted to play an RPG that was interesting for at least a day or two, 3, 4, this is the game for you, in my opinion. This is the mod for you. Now, I will put a disclaimer. Currently, Annihilus is in closed beta. That means to currently gain access, you need to subscribe to their Patreon for about $15 and go over to their Discord and let them know, and they'll whitelist you. But that's just mainly just to support development of the mod. Once the mod is finished, it will be free to play after that. But, it's not that big of a deal to me, like they did a really good job with Annihilus, so I'm completely fine with sending a few dollars there that way, but that is a disclaimer. But yeah, if you want more detailed instructions, I would heavily suggest checking out Graxy TV's video on the mod as well. Other than that, like, it's been really fun just kind of fucking around in Diablo 2, but with like different criteria, because I really do think Diablo 2 is like a really good base of a game now that, you know, the years have passed. Like the concept of Diablo 2 as a base game has always been good, and that's why a lot of different games have done so well taking that concept and pushing it further. It's just because it was kind of a product of its own time, where it was like made 20 years ago, it means that it was lacking a few things that people want, specifically complexity. I think that's like the biggest thing. I think gamers that play these kind of games that are going to look for a mod on the internet for a 20-year-old game, they're the kind of people that want complexity in their video games. So any mod that adds to the complexity of Diablo 2 without really ruining it is good to me, in my opinion. Because like we have all this power, right? Technically, in theory, right? We have this power from the passive tree. We have this power from the skills, HP. Like we have all this power, right? All this damage. Turns out we're gonna fucking need it, because the end game of this game, it looks brutal so far with the amount of HP things have. Now that might be me just being undergeared, or you know, not necessarily an expert at Diablo 2, but definitely seems like as though we got to get ready to get our noses to the grindstone, because we're gonna be grinding a lot. But there will be a video on this build specifically probably in the next coming days when I'm more finished with it. But with all that being said, this has been Dread. I'll have to go do something else. Bye.